It's dark outside and I've been up in this bitch getting fried. Welcome back to Bestie After Dark, where I get baked as hell and I tell your worst or most interesting dating, romance, and bedroom story time submissions. As a reminder, if you would like to get your story to me, please visit ycbestie.com/bad. Let's get straight into things. Okay. The title of your After Dark story time is Lady of the Night Adventure Time. Hey, besties. So, this is kind of a wild ride, and I have many, many stories I'd like to share. I'm an escort, a lady of the night, and I had this one guy call me like 6 different times. He paid me for half an hour every time, 160 bucks. Is that the going rate? 160 for 30 minutes? So, like 320 for an hour. I'm assuming you give some kind of discount for different increments, 300 for an hour. So interesting. Like just the economy. I love the black market economy. If you don't know this, like that's more or less what I went to college for. So I do have a master's degree as well in business. But when I was in college, I was in the honors college during undergrad. The dean of our school of business was my faculty mentor. That's a whole different story. But because of that, I had a fair amount of leeway into like being able to pursue the things that genuinely interest me during my independent research. And for me, that was the black market substance trade, right? So like buying, selling, trading, what is the cost for like imprisonment on different charges? What is, what does the economy look like if we decriminalize things, if we legalize things? What does the economy look like for other places that have already done this? With economic theory, like how do prices change with different forms of legality. Anyways, nobody asked me any of that. Nobody asked me any of that. I'm just saying that's very interesting. And if you're a pro, I would like to know more. Okay. He was hitting the slopes, a powder ranger and all, and he would just have me slob the knob, right? And here's the thing. That sugar always left him with a gummy worm. I'm talking 100% soft every single fucking time. But that's not even the worst part, and that's not why I stopped seeing him as a client. That's interesting. I have never had that happen. In fact, I have had the opposite, where they get all fucking geeked up and they don't want to stop. Get out of me! I'm over the. I'm tired of this shit, Grandpa! Someone told me the other day I looked like Sigourney Weaver in Holes because of an outfit I was wearing. So very ironic. You weren't wrong. Um, every time I would have him totally balls deep. He would ask if I'm sure he's big enough and if I'm sure I'm not lying. And he wouldn't just ask once, he would ask repeatedly every single fucking time, multiple times. And if I didn't answer him, which I don't even know why men think that we can do with a fucking mouthful, but anyways, he would ask until I hit him with the He was so insecure. I just wanted to scream, bitch, you're paying me for cooter, not for therapy. Listen, have we considered that maybe that's why he couldn't get it up? Another client I got to live my best R. Kelly moment with, he paid me to pee all over him, and it was actually extremely invigorating. Another client many, many, many years ago was fat, greasy, and sloppy. Like it was good, obviously. He was paying me money, but I rode him. And when I was getting off of him, I made the mistake of looking behind his headboard. And besties, y'all are not ready for the amount of used rubbers I saw back there on the floor. It was literally the most disgusting, gross, trifling shit I've ever seen in my fucking life. What a fat, greasy, sloppy, gut toting bitch. I love gut toting as an insult. So, yeah, but fat, greasy, sloppy as a sentence, big fan of that one too. This one isn't gross or anything. Well, maybe a little bit, but this guy I have to sneeze. Okay. Again? Again? This one isn't gross or anything. Well, maybe a little bit, but this guy I used to deal with, he's in a wheelchair and he drove an hour to to suck breast milk out of my left tit for 10 minutes for $100. That man also liked to play over text messages and would literally do anything I told him to do, like put stuff up his back door and pee pee hole. And he also paid for lactation videos of me expressing milk. I miss him and I miss his wallet. Um, you know what? You know what? Who am I to yuck his yum? Was it like a lot of milk? Can I ask that? Was it like a full adult serving? Or was it like just a little bit? You know what I mean? 10 minutes is like, that's not a long time, but it is. Was it like a lot of milk? Was this like a, like, did he gain sustenance in some ways from this? Why is that my question? I should have others, but that one is what's sticking out to me. How much milk was he sucking? Anyways, next story. The title of your After Dark story time is The Booty Bandit. So here lies my deepest secrets. The father of my children was really into booty stuff, but on the low. So that was what our bedroom life looked like. We would regularly engage in booty stuff. Like he wanted fingers, he wanted me to eat it. Well, unbeknownst to me, he constantly talked about our bedroom life with his brother and friends, even when asked not to. So one day, while he was sharing, I started sharing too. Now, all of his friends look at him a little different, and we broke up, so I thought I could share this with you too. He also did other crazy stuff, but yeah, what a little booty bandit. Real. The title of your After Dark story time is No More Dogs in the Bedroom. This is actually my mom's story. She was seeing a real asshole of a guy, and he was caught cheating on her with 6 other women, including his ex wife, who lived on the other side of the country, but that's a whole different story. This boyfriend stole his dog from his ex at some point. This 15-year-old little terrier was a lovely and sweet little dog, very, very chill, and also not fixed. Well, one day, she and her man are getting it on in the bedroom, and the dog was on the bed. They didn't care. He's on top of her when she feels something in her hand. She looks over and finds that the dog had moved up onto her hand, and that what she was feeling was, in fact, the dog's dingling. The dog was very excited, and therefore put it in her hand. Fingers wrapped around it before being aware of what she was holding, and she started screaming, like literally screaming. Killed the mood. The boyfriend was laughing his ass off, and the dog was kicked out of the bedroom. And after that, there was a rule that if there was fun to be had, the dog had to be locked out. She was mortified, and still kind of is, but laughs about it now. The boyfriend loved it, thought it was the funniest thing, and it proved that the dog was his. So I don't know if you know this, but I hated that. Hated it. The title of your After Dark story time is My Hookup Couldn't Get It Up and Then Wanted to Hook Up at a Church in a Car at 8 p.m. I matched with this guy on Tinder a few days ago and we were talking and he wanted to hook up. I was down. And he said, "Oh, we can go for a drive. I know a place." The red flags were showing up because I was thinking, you better not mean in public, and you better not mean in public in a car. Well, yes. He wanted to drive to a church to hook up in his car, and it would have been at like 8 p.m. too, so there would have been people there or in the area. Fuck that. I told him he could come over to my place, and he was like, okay, bet. May I ask what made you want to go along with this anyways when you could have just not? May I ask a question like that? Um, Come today, he gets here and we start, hooking up. And I asked him if he could eat it. And he said, only if you decide to top me. I was like, bruh, but I did it because whatever. And after he ate me, and it fucking sucked, by the way, he couldn't get it up at all. Like, I taste good. I showered. I know that everything was together with me. So it wasn't a me issue. He tried for like 10 minutes to get it up and he just couldn't. He tried for like 10 minutes to get it up and he just couldn't. Like, even after I topped him again. Then he gave up and went home. The sad thing is that he said that this has happened to him before. I got secondhand embarrassment for him because, like, yikes. Okay, this is the type of guy who needs a honey pack, right? It's not the little, like, 21-year-olds giving themselves ED when they should be fucking like bunnies. It's this guy who legitimately has a hard time staying up or getting there. Honestly, it's interesting to me how, like, rampant that form of dysfunction has become in younger guys. And I think it is, like, legitimately linked to the normalization and, like, accessibility of those products. Like, because there have always been gas station weenie pills, but I don't remember them ever being as popularized as they have been by social media. Okay. The title of your After Dark story time is The Sock Dilemma. Let's call him Brad. Brad hates dirt and grime on him or within his bed. He doesn't mind socks or clothes touching the top of the blanket, but he hates if they touch anything in the sheets or bedding underneath the blanket. If he gets into bed with his socks, he will get out and change the bedding. Wow. As such, logically, he does not like his bare body to touch the top blanket, only the clean one. Okay, cool, no biggie. A little germophobia never hurt me. But he also refuses to take his socks off during the deed because his feet get cold, apparently enough to actively distract him. Solution and punchline? Before we do it, every time, after washing his hands, of course, um, he would fold down the blanket halfway over itself so our bodies would be on the sheet and then fold the blanket back up partially so that our feet would be on top of the top blanket. Excuse me? So much work for what? And the interruption, the silence? Our first story today is called In My Own Apartment. Really? Liam was a train wreck our entire relationship. Very toxic and very controlling. He was also uncut, which I don't know if that correlates, but oh well. What a gem. An uncut one at that. Whenever we were gonna do it, he would jack himself, looking at me to stay up. He hated wearing rubbers and always wanted to do it without one, which we rarely did because it made him feel better. Okay. Wait, back it up. He hated wearing rubbers and always wanted to do it without one. Anyways, I hated his little ritual every time we did it because it took forever, and I also hate having eyes on me. He was also always wanting me to top him, which I hated and only did when I was baked because at that point, I didn't care. Anyways, I was working doubles all week one week, and my roommates decided to have a party. My ex was friends with one of my roommates, Beck, because she gardened and gave him papers to roll. Since I was working a double and he was already friends with the host, he decided to go over there probably around 6:30, and I didn't get home until 11. When I walked in, I about lit the place up with what I saw. There, on the floor, sitting in a little circle, was Beck and Liam, and this girl, Anna, who was sitting in Liam's lap. I recorded it on my phone, but I deleted it after we broke up because I purged everything of him from my phone, but now I wish I'd kept it to show you. Because all three of them were hammered as hell, but I am one of the only people who believes that being intoxicated is not an excuse for your behavior. Drunk words are sober thoughts, or however that saying goes. I agree. I agree. I think that there is a line to, like, the point where you are so, like, legitimately gone that you are no longer in control of your own actions. And that is the line at which you aren't consensually doing it with someone else. They're they're doing it to you. Does that make sense? That is the difference. And I know that that's a very fine line. Um, but I agree. Being drunk does not give you an excuse to do anything. Also, I have the sniffles. Okay, so we're gonna get through this together. We're in this together, team. Okay. So I push her little bitch ass off of him and I drag his drunk ass into my room where I am livid. I'm going off on him and he decides it's his turn to raise his voice and talk about everything that I've done wrong throughout our relationship and saying he wanted to break up with me and Anna came on to him. I start saying that what I saw was unacceptable and he tries to leave. I block him from the door and he pushes me to the floor and opens the door and it hits me in the face so hard it gives me a bloody nose. He storms out and doesn't even look at me after I yelled out in pain and goes right back out to this little circle with Beck and Anna. I clean myself up and go back out there and onto the porch where everyone is gardening and shit and people I don't know start asking me if I'm okay and if I was going to say something to Liam about oops, sorry. I just shook one of the cameras. I gotta redo this sentence. I clean myself up and I go back out there and onto the porch where everyone is gardening and shit, and people that I don't even know start asking me if I'm okay and if I was going to say something to Liam about what he was doing with Anna and if I saw anything else. Mind you, these people are in her house. Girl, listen. To make sure that I'm fried enough to tell the rest of these stories, I'm just gonna go ahead and add a shot of Calmezzi to this Dunkin' that the frat man so kindly bought me because I was having a bad day yesterday. Okay, about a shot. Because what? The fuck? In your own house? I would have raised hell in a way that could only be described as insatiable. Like, you. They would have had to remove me from my own property. Because what? God damn it, I lost my place. I lost my place. I told them what I saw, and the partygoers said, oh, they did more than that. They were cuddling up out there under a blanket, and she was in his lap. They were standing up, and he had his hands all over her. They made out and everything in front of everyone. Blah, blah, blah. And I broke down in tears. I can't remember how the rest of the night went. I think I just went to bed and I locked my door and ignored everyone, including Liam, who eventually went back to his apartment with Anna. I don't know. The next day, I go over to his house and I ask to look through his phone. He reluctantly gives it to me and demands that he watches what I'm doing. I was told by my friends that he and Anna were best friends on Snapchat and it takes weeks to build a streak like that. Correct. It does. It takes time. That's how I caught my ex-husband one time and he was like, "No, she's just a girl I talk to sometimes." You lying bitch. Incorrect. So yeah, I don't love that. And that they were messaging each other on Instagram and TikTok, so those were the first places that I looked. I didn't find anything on Snapchat, so he'd probably blocked her before I went through his phone, but on TikTok she had sent him a bunch of cheesy romantic videos, like "I miss my boyfriend who's not really my boyfriend," and "I love the way your eyes light up when you look at me," all that gross shit. Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not going to condone you blocking the door to prevent him from leaving. Okay, like, I don't personally think you did anything wrong in the context of, like, I understand wanting to continue this situation with your significant other, that, like, they're clearly avoiding and have done wrong, and I do think that he was wrong, obviously, for pushing you and then also hitting you in the face with the fucking door, not checking on you, like, he's clearly an asshole. Um, I say that all to say, please tell me that you threw this fucking phone at him and hit him with it. Like, I need in the next 4 sentences, one of these sentences to say, and that's when I fucking bounced the goddamn phone off of his fucking skull. Okay? Because that's the one thing. That's the one thing in hindsight I'm proud of. Okay, one time I caught him cheating, like, texting other bitches and shit, and he was asleep. And I went in there and I had his phone and I fucking hurled it at him, woke his ass straight up. It was awesome. So I would really like to hear that you smacked him with his own cell phone. Then I go to Instagram and I see that she's texting him, Pookie, I miss you. Pookie, I'm tipsy. Come over and let's have some fun again. And I start seeing fucking red. I start texting her as him as he's watching, saying, hey, you know me and my name are still together, right? And she says, yeah, unfortunately. So I continue, and you know what we're doing is wrong, right? Because he's literally fucking cheating on me with her. And she said, but isn't that what you wanted? I thought that you wanted me. And I started to type, when have I ever said that I wanted you? And this bitch snatched his phone from me and we wrestled for it. He ends up winning and I'm sitting there fucking shocked and about to vomit. I break up with him and then and there, and I break up with him then and there and I grab all of my shit. He doesn't even try to help me carry things or stop me, but he does keep me from taking things that I bought, like certain clothes and figures and Pokemon. He slams the door in my face, and I go back to mine, crying. Fast forward a few weeks later, and we're back together. I know, I'm fucking sorry. I'm a fucking idiot. I know that now, and I got my karma. Well, at least you know what I was gonna say. Okay. Another fun little fact is that I wasn't allowed to talk to guys while I was with him, and he always went through my phone on a daily basis. Why did that just literally give me a heart palpitation? But I wouldn't be allowed to go through his. Be allowed? Major red flag, I know, but I wanted it to work out. I got baked as friends. Oh, I got baked at a friend's party the night before, and I added one of my old guy friends back on Snapchat to explain to him why I had to ghost him, but I forgot about it, and I logged out of Snap before I went over to Liam's because I knew that he would be upset. He tries to go through my phone, sees Snapchat, gets upset, and starts yelling at me. He tries to go through my phone. He sees Snapchat, gets upset, and starts yelling at me. I tell him the truth, and it gets even worse. He starts throwing things, hitting the mattress, just scaring the shit out of me, and then he drags me to his car to drive me home. I recorded the entire 9 minutes of the car ride home as he tried to redact both of us, screaming at me, brake checking, speeding, slamming on the brakes, hitting his legs, hitting the steering wheel, threatening me, and just driving like a complete fucking lunatic. Once we got back to my apartment, he wouldn't let me leave his car, so I had to run into my apartment, all 4 flights of stairs to get there, and bang on the door. I had to run up to my apartment, all 4 flights of stairs, and bang on the door for someone to let me in because I was terrified. I still have that recording, by the way. I'm definitely running out of character space, but here's a little list of red flags that I ignored from our relationship that I think are important. One, always made me pay him back after a date, even if it was his idea. Okay, there's a few layers to this one, actually. So, the thing that stands out to me about this isn't actually the fact that, like, you guys were both paying for the date. It's that he would have you pay him back after the fact. Okay. Have you ever Any of you. Have you ever been with a real fucking loser and they asked to use your debit card? That's the vibe I'm getting from this, is that he wanted the visual from other people of like, oh, I'm paying for this, and then on the back end, you pay him back. It's very, very akin to, oh, well, let me hold your card and I'll pay for it. Now, why would you need to do that? What would you need to do that for? I need to stop doing this or I'm going to be doing it the whole episode. Never got me flowers. I don't like this guy already. I have mixed thoughts and emotions on the flower thing, but I think it's an issue either way. Okay, I think that the flip side of this is, again, someone who does it performatively, and then it ends up being like way, way, way more work and effort for you than it is for them. Um, but yeah, I'm not fucking with this guy. I just realized my plushie has fallen over. There we go. My little bestie guy. Didn't allow me to have guy friends, even if he knew them too. Hid me from his family during the 2 years we were together, and I never met his family, nor do I know what they look like. Hid me from his roommates. I was never allowed upstairs in their house. Did he have like a separate friend group? And I hate to say like a separate life outside of the life that you two shared together, like, because obviously you should have a separate life, but I think you know what I mean. It kind of sounds like he might have had a double life scheme occurring, is kind of the vibe I'm getting here. I don't think that he was ashamed of you from what I'm reading, because that is like, that's a whole separate thing, is when they're like, they legitimately feel ashamed of like something about their partner. It sounds like he might have had some whole other shit going on. Like, now let me finish reading this. He ignored me whenever I cried, or would mock my crying, or laugh when I was having a breakdown. He would call my no good, derogatory, physical behaviors. I don't, you know what I mean? Childish and attention seeking. He told me to harm and delete me, and the list continues to go on. Anyways, love you, bestie. I'll be back. Okay. Um, Something that was really hard for me. Some people know this, some people don't. This intro story has gotten so long, so I don't know if I'm actually going to be able to put this in one of my social media clips, or if this is just going to go only to the full episode. Sorry, friend. But when I was married, I made a post on Reddit after I found out, like, kind of the conclusion of my ex-husband's affair. I wish that I could recover that Reddit post. Like, I've actually looked on the like internet time machine shit, and archive.org or whatever, like, I've tried. But because I deleted it, like, I was so ashamed. And at that time, like, I actually had my social media pages, I'm pretty sure, but it wasn't like how it is now, of course, where I'm like much more transparent and much more vulnerable, because I wasn't processing any of this, and I really, really wanted it to go away, right? So I made this Reddit post. I don't know what I was hoping for, but the hardest thing for me to hear, and the harshest piece of feedback that I received, like the one that stuck with me, that I still think about, was, honey, it sounds like you're the side bitch. It doesn't matter if you two are married, you're the side piece. And that shit shook me to my core. But I think that it's relevant here. And I think it's worth you thinking about, even if it's in hindsight. You know, that might be more hurtful and harmful than you were hoping for from me. But it kind of, I'm getting a very distinct vibe from this story that he had some like double life shit going on that you still to this day, like, might not know about. There's something nefarious here, worse than, not worse, but like more underlying than what I'm reading. The title of your After Dark story time is Grip 'em and Strip 'em. I started seeing this guy a few months ago, and the last time we did it, he asked, and I'm quoting this directly because it's been burned into my brain, can I take a picture of your grippers and use them to handle my business when you're not here? Needless to say, that was the last time that I saw him. Um, But the same guy also requested that I watch midnight ballerina tutorials so that I can perform with him. How do I say this? Were any of his exes pros? Like dancers or otherwise? Because I've noticed in the past when I've like dated guys or been with guys who have dated um girls that are bodaciously bodily professionals, right? They have there's some interesting fucking shit going on with them. Okay? I don't know what it is. It's not the ladies. It's not. It's the men. It's the fucking men. Like, I see why y'all don't want them. I don't want them either. Obviously. But I've dated two guys who, like, basically the love of their lives or their first loves were midnight ballerinas, and they were willing to like chase them around the fucking country to like try and protect them, save them. It's just weird. It's just weird and odd and strange, but this has been like a recurrent theme. Obviously they thought that they could save me, bitch. You don't need saving because there's nothing wrong with you. Okay, and anything that is wrong with you, you are the only person that can fix that for yourself. Um, so yeah, leave these weirdos alone. So I just realized I'm talking so low. My bad. My different guy. He's from the Netherlands. I'm from the US. But he also requested pictures of my feet. At least he offered to buy them though. Real. The title of your After Dark story time is Pansexual Trans Guy Needing Advice. Dear Miss Corporate Bestie, okay, so I'm like brand new to dating and fooling around with people who have male parts, weenie weens. I have been really lucky to have met a few assigned male at birth people who have been great at showing me the ropes, and it turns out I'm a big fan of receiving a little wienerin'. The issue that I'm facing is, as a trans man, I have zero experience with cis men, queer or otherwise. All of my past relationships have been with assigned female at birth. Can AFAB is the acronym? AMAB? I, I'm trying my best. Okay. I've only been with AFAB people and they turned really toxic and abusive because I have a really hard time seeing red flags and knowing when to leave. I really don't want to make those same mistakes with men because that's obviously even more dangerous. Anyways, I was wondering if you had any wisdom to share. I'm honestly just kind of scared about getting back into a bad situation and it's really holding me back. I feel like I'm preventing myself from actually putting myself out there and meeting new people and exploring my sexuality. Sincerely, your female to male bestie. Okay, I have some thoughts. Um, one, I will say a lot of my followers across the board, like polyamorous, just queer across the board, kind of have this mentality that like men are the problem. Because like they'll come and tell me, they'll be like, no, it's okay to talk shit about the men. Okay. They're not marginalized. They're still assholes. So I think that it's worth you keeping that in mind, but I don't want to start this off on like a all men are horrible train of thought. Um, what I will say is I'm glad that you're aware that these situations you're currently exploring can be more dangerous in terms of physical harm, potentially. And what I would say, as someone who myself has a hard time identifying red flags and like acting on them actionably, or executing a plan to get myself the fuck up out of there, what I would recommend for you is there are no yellow flags. There is no yellow, there is no orange, there is nothing in between. Okay. um and that's hard. Like, I don't want you to go out into the world thinking solely in like black and white, 0 or 100. It's not that. But when you identify something, it doesn't have to be bad. It doesn't have to mean that they are a bad person. It doesn't have to mean any of that. It just means that this isn't the right situation for you to be in and you should show yourself out. Right? You don't need evidence. You don't need, like, you can just leave. And there's nothing wrong with just leaving. It does not make you better. It does not make you worse. It only means that you are putting yourself in a different situation. Um, so yeah, I've found myself oftentimes being like, that's not a red flag. It's just yellow. It's a little orange. That's not a fucking thing. That's not a real thing. And if you see something that is a sign that, again, it doesn't have to mean that they're a bad person. It doesn't have to mean that there's something wrong with them. It just means that there's a misalignment between the two of you. It's okay to peace out. And that's what I would recommend you do. Thank you so much for joining me for Bestie After Dark. If you would like to see all of Bad all at once, you can subscribe on my website, ycbestie.com, for early access on Saturdays, or visit my YouTube at ycbestie on Mondays. Thanks again.